Hi Taurus, happy birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac, starting with your sign, Taurus, representing the first house, all the way through to Aries representing the 12th house. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull an oracle card as well for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot, we have the Brady Tarot, and for the Oracle deck, we'll be using the Wisdom Oracle. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have 9. So, ninth house energy for you guys is Capricorn. And astrologically speaking, that area of the zodiac is pretty quiet right now. But in general, ninth house points to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs. All right, we have Scorpio. So, Scorpio for you guys is your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, and relationships. And there actually will be a full moon in Scorpio right on the 1st of May. So, certainly makes sense to see that come up in that regard. And we have Mars. So Mars is actually currently in Aries, which is your 12th house, which points to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health. And then actually on the 18th of May, it's going to be moving into your sign. So it makes sense to see this come up as well. So we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. All right, so for the first house, we have the Sun of Roots. So this is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Pentacles in traditional tarot. So yeah, what I'm seeing with this is it looks like you guys probably feel like you're making some slow and steady progress in your life, right? Maybe those 12th house energies had you feeling a little bit tired more recently, and now you feel like as these energies start moving into your sign, right? Of course, we have the sun there. We'll have a new moon in your sign around the 16th of May. We just mentioned how Mars will be moving into your sign around the middle of the month. So as these energies move into your sign, Mercury will be there early in May. So all those energies could be making you feel a little bit regenerated, right? Like you're coming out of hibernation. All right, so for the second house, which points primarily to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the Daughter of Roots. So this is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. And looking at this artwork here, could this be saying maybe you feel like you're getting a fresh start when it comes to your finances? Maybe there's some new things you've been considering investing in. Maybe you just had some money coming your way, right? Simple as, just your birthday season. Maybe you're getting gifts, things along those lines there. But it does feel like there's an energy of freshness and newness in this area of life for you as well. All right, in the third house, which points primarily to communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have Temperance. So this is the major arcana for Sagittarius, and that's actually your 8th house. Sagittarius, as far as that goes, there's actually going to be a full moon in Sag right at the very end of May. So you might see this energy pop up closer to the end of May. But either way, I feel like this is saying that there's going to be a feeling of balance and harmony when it comes to your communication this month. And for some of you, maybe that will be around management of resources, whether it be investments, right, or things due to you that might be coming your way. But either way, pretty positive. All right, and for the 4th house, which represents home, roots, and family, we have Defeat. So this is basically the 5 of arrows, which would be the 5 of swords. And seeing this here, could just be saying that within your home environment, you might feel like things are a little bit frayed, right? Maybe you could be having conflict with people in your family, right? Things along those lines there, or maybe there's just a certain energy of feeling a little bit burdened, and like the energy just might seem off when you're in your home environment, So maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit more of an exploratory energy here, as far as you guys might realize that, right? Maybe you just feel a little bit fidgety when you're in the homes, or just something seems a little bit off, so you might be trying to get yourselves out a little bit more to clear that energy. All right, in the 5th house of romance, creativity, children. We have work. So this is basically the three of roots or the three of pentacles as it would be in traditional tarot. So yeah, so to see this here could just be saying that maybe you feel like a little bit of a spark of creativity, right, on how best to approach your day-to-day lives. Maybe there's a little bit of feeling reinvigorated there as well, right, and that's going to actually help you build stronger projects that will stand the test of time. But yeah, some of this, the first impression I get from this is that at the very least, if not the sun being in your sign, as we mentioned, the fact that Mars will move there around the middle of the month might really help light that spark for you too. All right. In the sixth house of health, work, and daily routines, we have this seven of roots, which is growth. So, seven of pentacles, this actually is a Taurus energy. So, to see this come up here, could just be saying that, yeah, similar to what I was saying with the sun of roots, right? Where I feel like maybe there's this slow, steady progress that you feel like you're making, right? Like I said, almost like coming out of hibernation, right? In the northern hemisphere, for example, we have spring continuing to progress here, so you could be feeling that within your own lives as well. All right, so for the seventh house, which we saw represented with the dice as well, we have the daughter of feathers. So this is basically the equivalent of the page of wands. And so see this here, it could just be saying that you might be feeling a bit of a spark when it comes to that area of life, right? So, for example, some of you might cross paths with someone new that you might want to get into a partnership with, whether that be romantic, a business partnership, right? It doesn't always have to be strictly romantic when it comes to seventh house, but looks like there is this light exploratory energy that you guys be feeling around that area of life. All right. So, for the eighth house, which represents quite a few things: death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have the Son of Arrows. So this is basically the equivalent of the Knight of Swords. And to see this here could just be saying again, which funny enough, it ties into what I was talking about with the Daughter of Roots, right? And Temperance, where maybe you guys are making plans to invest certain things, right? Maybe move some resources around, whether that be physical resources or just your energy, your focus, right? And there could be some conversations around that this month, but it does seem like they're going to be spirited conversations. So it does seem like something you're determined to make progress in. And given that that technically does represent a Gemini energy, could just be saying that as we get a little later into the month too, that energy might continue to grow. All right, so for ninth house, which as we mentioned is also represented in the dice, we have anguish. So this is basically the equivalent of the Nine of Swords. It's a Nine of Arrows in this deck. So yeah, so usually this is an energy of being trapped in your thoughts, right? Maybe overthinking things, maybe losing sleep around things, getting a little bit stressed out. And to see this in ninth house energy, which points to philosophy, higher learning, foreign affairs, this could somewhat go back to what I was saying with the coming out of hibernation thing too, right? So maybe you're reevaluating your beliefs, right? Maybe there's something that you might have believed for a long time, especially given the feet card and the fourth house energy. Maybe beliefs you've had from your early upbringing that maybe now they're coming into question for you to where you have doubts as to whether you should still hold on to those beliefs or shift away from them. All right. In the 10th house, which points primarily to career and social status, we have apathy. So this is basically the Four of Horns in this deck, which is basically the equivalent of Four of Cups, and that's Cancerian energy. So to see this here, it could just be saying that, yeah, maybe you're losing a little bit of interest when it comes to your day-to-day routine, right? So on the one hand, like we said, coming out of hibernation, feeling that growth, but at the same time, you might not feel a deep attachment to what you're doing, right? And maybe that's going to be what's going to spark you to try to get creative on how to figure that out, right? How to find that balance to where you can feel like you're enjoying your daily work a little bit more. All right. And for your 11th house, which points primarily to friendship, groups, hopes, and wishes, we have joy. So this is basically the equivalent of the Ace of Cups, Ace of Horns in this deck. So yeah, this is definitely a good thing to see. Because to me, this says that no matter what, right, if you feel a little bit bogged down, right, like I said, if your home environment, something seems a little bit off there, I feel like this is saying that when you do get around your friends, do get around groups, you'll actually start to feel lighter, right? You'll feel a lighter energy. You'll feel genuine connection with the people you're dealing with. And, again, like I said, given that this is basically your birthday season, it could just be as simple as people might be reaching out to you, right? Wishing you a happy birthday. But for those of you, let's say if you're just a Taurus rising or Taurus moon, either way, I feel like this is saying you'll be able to enjoy this energy this month. And for the 12th house, which generally points to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Jupiter energy here, and this is tying into what I was saying there too, where I was saying maybe you're just going to start getting these creative ideas flowing to you, right? If you do feel a little bit stuck, like you're coming out of hibernation, right, dusting yourselves off, could just be saying that this is primarily the reason why, right? You could just have a lot of creative ideas flowing through you, and this month could be a matter of trying to bring those things to life in the actual day-to-day reality. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have Passage. So this is Six of Arrows or Six of Swords in traditional tarot. So yeah, to see this here, could just be saying that you will be leaving some things behind. So, for example, this is the Five of Arrows here. This is the Six, right? The Five energies tend to be a lot more unstable, whereas the Six energies are a lot more calm and balanced. So, to me, this says that, yeah, even if you do go through these feelings, right, of disease, discomfort, I feel like this is saying that you will be able to progress past that. All right, so lastly, what we'll do is we'll pull an oracle card. So, like I mentioned, we're going to pull a card from Wisdom Oracle. What I'm going to do is give this a few shuffles, then I'll cut the deck, we'll pull a card, and wrap up the reading with that. All right, let's take this one here, get this out of the way, and let's see what you got. All right, we have Clean It Up. There's the artwork. Number is 21. So yeah, that makes me think of a similar theme too, right? Where, like we said, it could just be this feeling where you feel like you're coming out of hibernation, right? Maybe leaving some older things behind, starting fresh, which, like we said with the astrology, seems to support that timing as well. But let's see what it says. All right, essential meanings says getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. The oracle's message. Ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your house also? Too much work? Overwhelmed? Time to clean house. Every item out of way natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. So yeah, reading that was interesting, right? Talking about cleaning house, maybe things are a little bit cluttered for you. So maybe that's what this Five of Swords energy is pointing to an extent, as well as the anguish energy. So yeah, so it could just be as simple as saying maybe you've been low energy, right? Things have gotten a little bit out of order. And now as you do start to get these more energetic transits popping into your sign, that could finally be what helps you clear all that energy out. All right. The relationship message says, time to clear the air, take a look at your side of the street and say what's on your mind. Sweep away the old stuff so that a spring breeze can flow through with new energy. It's the perfect time to do an inventory of your dynamics and see what's yours and what's not yours to clean up the relationship. Everyone brings some baggage. Sort through what you brought with you and let go of what is no longer needed. Become unencumbered and your relationship will flourish. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, and it does seem to point to that energy of freshness that we talked about when we talked about the daughter of Feather's energy in your seventh house. And the prosperity message says simple things like opening your mail, paying bills, sorting out your timetable, making lists, and getting organized is what this symbol means when it comes to your work. Make time for yourself too. This card is a sign you may be overburdened and overwhelmed. It's okay to say no. You'll prosper even more if you do. So yeah, so I definitely like that message as well because even, for example, even if it's around positive things, right? Like I said, as far as everyone reaching out to you, like, hey, we want to take you out for your birthday. Let's go here. Let's go there, right? If you feel a little bit overwhelmed by that too, right? That's totally fine. And you could decline as far as that stuff goes too. But yeah, hopefully that resonated with you guys. Once again, happy birthday, and we'll wrap up there. Bye.